radical axis is defined, and if S1 and S2 are two circles, then S1 minus S2 is equation of radical axis. But let us calculate it in linear xy form. So S1 is x square plus y square plus 2g1x plus 2f1y plus c1 is equal to 0, and S2 is x square plus y square plus 2g2x plus 2f2y plus c2 is equal to 0. Hence, S1 minus S2 is going to be 2 times G1 minus G2 times X plus 2 times F1 minus F2 times Y plus C1 minus C2 is equal to 0. This is your equation of radical axis. Now, slope of this line is minus A by B. So, slope minus G1 minus G2 upon F1 minus F2. And if we observe what are the centers of these two circles, minus G1 comma minus F1, that is center 1, and center 2 is minus G2 comma minus F2. Therefore, slope of C1 C2 is Y2 minus Y1, that is F1 minus F2 upon G1 minus G2. So product of these slopes is minus 1. Therefore, radical axis is perpendicular to the line joining centers. Okay, this is important observation. I think we had done that earlier also. So suppose I give you two circles, it is very easy and to find out the equation of radical axis, and therefore I'm not going to give you two circles, but let us do our next job. If a not a x square plus y square plus 5x minus 7y minus 5 is equal to 0 is a circle, and 3x minus 4y plus 5 is equal to 0 is radical axis circle. S is this, and S dash. Find all S dash. Simple problem. So I am asking it in reverse way. Instead of giving you two circles and asking radical axis to find, I am giving you one circle and radical axis and asking you to find the second circle and maybe the family of second circle. You have to just write, because you have done this in 9th standard. Write down. What do you mean by S dash? Is it difficult? Okay. Aryan, okay. Now, when I am asking you to find S dash, I am saying that you can find the entire family. It is not necessary that there is only one or two circles which will be S dash. It is going to be the complete family, infinitely many circles. Yes or no? Yeah. Okay. Rishabh, correct. Shaurya also seems to be correct. But this is what we did in ninth standard. I don't know. I'm just asking it in terms of radical axis. And we did not mention that word radical axis earlier. I think we have made some line pass intersecting given circle. So it's a S plus lambda L. Suppose L is our radical axis. Then x square plus y square plus 5x minus 7y minus 5 plus lambda times 3x minus 4y plus 5 is equal to 0 is going to be equation of S dash every time. Yes or no? Is this a circle? Yes. Is it passing through the point of intersection of this line and this circle? Yes. Therefore, it is a radical axis. And if you check, अरे बरोबर आहे की चूक आहे? काय एवढा वेळ लागतो तुम्हाला? वॉच करतो व्हिडिओ. This is the family of circles. It is not one circle. You take any value of lambda. Now, if you take lambda is equal to 0, you will get back this circle, and maybe only one circle along with the same circle. You may not end up getting this line once you do S1 minus S2. Okay, that is the only case where we have to be careful. Where lambda is equal to 0, we are not getting another circle. And then in that case, you have a circle and another circle is overlapping that. And maybe this line either intersecting or not intersecting is lying somewhere else. Then and then only we are in trouble. Otherwise, for all values of lambda, otherwise, other than 0, we get a distinct circle. We get another circle like this. We get another circle like this. We get another circle like this. Okay, so this is coaxial family of circle controlled by one parameter lambda. Okay, good. Next result is S1, S2, S3. Be three distinct circles. The radical axis of these three circles taken two at a time are concurrent. Either are concurrent or parallel. Now you can combine, they are always concurrent, provided if you are okay with point of intersection at infinity. But okay, I mean, we can write it either concurrent or parallel. This is a theorem, or maybe easy to prove. So prove it. Why the three distinct circles taken anywhere, their radical axis will be concurrent. Okay. As far as this concurrency is concerned, if we take two S1 and S2, then power of every point on the radical axis, let me call this as radical axis 1, 2. Every point will have same power with respect to S1 and S2. That means length of the tangent from any point you draw to this circle and length of the tangent will be same. Now S2 and S3, if you do, S2 and S3, again they will share yet another radical axis. As far as now I am passing it through this point, does not mean that it will pass through that point, but for the purpose of simplicity of diagram, I am doing it. So this is R23. So every point on R23 will have same power with respect to S2 and S3. Is that correct? So root S1, the summation. So let this point be x dash, y dash, where these two radical axes intersect each other. So what is the power with respect to S1? S1 dash. What is the power with respect to S2? S2 dash. If we take this radical axis, S2 dash is equal to S3 dash, implies S1 dash is equal to S3 dash. And therefore, through this point, the radical axis of these two circles also will pass like this. That is why, I mean, it is exactly same as AB1, AB2, and converse of AB1, AB1, AB2. Okay, that is the fun part of it. That point of intersection of three radical axis is called a radical center. Okay, let me give you some numericals so that you are awake. Find the equation of circle cutting orthogonally. The three circles 1 x square plus y square minus 2x plus 3y minus 7 is equal to 0. Second, x square plus y square plus 5x minus 5y plus 9 is equal to 0. And the third circle, x square plus y square plus 7x minus 9y plus 29, 0. Okay, show me the circle which cuts these three circles orthogonally. Now we can very quickly find out the radical center by radical axis intersection. Also, radical axis intersection also you can do it very quickly. Radical axis of 1 and 3 is 9x minus 12y minus plus 36 is equal to 0. Barabar? So 3 is common, which is 3x minus 4y 12 36. You have to solve this equation simultaneously with, say for example, let us take these two. This 2 minus 3 is 2x minus 4y plus 20 is equal to 0. So x minus 2y plus 10 is equal to 0. Point of intersection of these two is going to be your center of required circle. So what it comes out to be what? 8, 8 comma 9. 8 comma 9. So center is 8 comma 9. And if we take what is the length of tangent from 8 comma 9 with any of the three circles, it is going to be same. Why? Why will it be same? Because if this is T1, this is T2, and there will exist another tangent here whose length is going to be T3, and all of them are going to be same because this is the point on the concurrency of radical axis. So T1 is equal to T2 is equal to T3. That is what we have proved here. And then if you draw a circle like this, it will pass through point of tangency of all three circles, and that is what is going to be your orthogonal circle. That is what is your orthogonal circle. Arey, samajhte ka? So you get the radius by putting this point in equation number 1. So square root of radius is equal to square root of 64 plus minus 16 plus 27 minus 7. Whatever that number comes out to be, that is going to be the radius, and the equation final answer is x square plus y square minus 16x minus 18y minus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, now let me give you an interesting job. Suppose I have a circle with me. Suppose I have a circle with me and I have another circle with me. Okay, that these are the two circles that are there on your piece of paper. Geometrically construct radical axis. Okay, you should be able to give me step-by-step procedure of constructing radical axis. Maybe 2 or 3 different procedures. Okay. The simplest amongst them is we know the procedure of drawing direct tangents. Draw both direct tangents. Get the point of contact. Now you want power with respect to this circle and this circle to be same. Therefore, the point must be midpoint. This midpoint must lie on radical axis, because every point on radical axis will give power with respect to circle number 1 and circle number 2 exactly same. Therefore, M1 belongs to radical axis. M2 belongs to radical axis, and therefore M1, M2 is radical axis of these two circles. That is one way of doing it. Second way of doing it is draw any intersecting circle. Draw. अरे तिथेच मीट करते आता अनफॉर्च्युनेट माझ्याकडे I had not intended like that. Okay. So this point belongs to radical axis of these two circles because of the concurrency that we have proved just now. As far as these three circles are concerned, this is radical center and it should belong to radical axis of S1 and S2. Maybe either you draw perpendicular line from that point to the line joining center, that is your radical axis, or if you don't want to do that, you can draw one more circle intersecting these two circles. One more circle like this, and then their common chords will intersect again, go and intersect on radical axis. That is method number 2. And method number 3 is actually use the definition of length of tangent with respect to both the circles same. So this is one circle, this is another circle. Now if they happen to be intersecting, then it is very easy to draw the radical axis, the line passing through their intersection, and therefore the difficult condition was given. Now what you can do is, from this point you draw any segment of any length which is perpendicular. Okay, let that length be D. Stop here. Exactly of the same length, you construct another straight line here, segment perpendicular. Okay, now we want the length of tangent from the point to be equal to D, but then these two D's are not intersecting. Then what we will do? With the center, we will rotate this point along the center. So it will be a concentric circle like this. And what will be the radius of that circle? This much. From here, you rotate this point. It will be a concentric circle like this. These two guys will intersect at 2 points, one here and another here. Now from here, if you draw tangent, will it have the length equal to D? Yes. Because you are just rotating this wheel, keeping this arm same. And from this point, will the length of tangent also be equal to D? Yes. This is D, this is D, this is D. So this point belongs to radical axis. Similarly, this point belongs to radical axis. Join them. You will get the radical axis. Good. That is how you can construct radical axis of any given two circles. Okay, I have yet another numerical problem which you should solve, and then we move ahead on next problem. Two circles C1 and C2 both pass through the points A12 and E21 and touch the line 4x minus 2y is equal to 9 at B and D. Find possible coordinates of C. If ABCD is a parallelogram. So, good amount of work for you. Okay, those who have finished can start solving this problem. Consider circles S1 and S2 given here. Find the circles orthogonal to S1 and S2 having radius 3. Equation of radical axis. You subtract these two and simplify, you will get 2x minus y minus 11 is equal to 0. So parametric equation of radical axis is x dash comma 2x dash minus 11. That is any point on radical axis, right? Now distance between the another condition that we have to use while solving this problem is orthogonality. Find the circle which is orthogonal, correct? So distance between the center square is equal to r1 square plus r2 square. So x dash minus 7 bracket square plus 2x dash minus 11 plus 2 bracket square is equal to 9 plus 1. Check whether you understand this or not. So x dash minus 7. Now this is quadratic in x dash. Simplify, you will get x dash square minus 10x dash plus 24 is equal to 0, which is x dash minus 6, x dash minus 4 is equal to 0. So x dash is 6 or x dash is 4. So centers of required circle are going to be, you put this x dash here so that you get y dash. So center C1 will be 6 comma 1 and C2 will be 4 comma minus 3 and radius 3 is already given. Therefore the equations of circle eventually after expanding we look like x square plus y square minus 12x minus 2y plus 28 is equal to 0 and x square plus y square minus 8x minus 6y plus 16 is equal to 0. Okay, these are the two equations which are orthogonal to given two circles and having radius. Good. Let us move now.
Sir,
Oh,
sir, 9 plus 1.
mistake. Second equation, coefficient of y is plus. बरोबर. Okay. Now geometrically, you have got the procedure of constructing the radical axis. Don't know why it is not happening. Wait a minute. Okay. Now I have got two circles and I have a line joining center. Okay. Now you know the procedure of finding out the radical axis also. Now I want you to figure out, can we find out one more circle of this family so that the radical axis is same? Can we geometrically find out one more circle coaxial to the given family of circle? This is S1, S2. Can we find out one more circle so that that circle and S1 will have same radical axis, or that circle and S2 will have same radical axis? Can we geometrically find out one more circle S3 coaxial with S1 and S2? Geometrically, can we do that? Check whether you can do that. Let us, if we pick any point on the radical axis, what is so good about this point? That its length of tangent from S1 is exactly same as length of tangent from S2, right? Let us note this. This is P, this is A1, this is A2. Let me call this as B1. Okay, so if this segment was there with you, could you locate the center M1? Yes. Draw perpendicular, you will get the center M1. Suppose if this tangent was known to you, could you locate center? Yes. Draw perpendicular, you will get the center. Now, because this length of tangent is same, I think we should be able to draw a circle looking like this, almost to the scale, passing through these 2 points, something like this. Okay. Something like this. Okay. So this circle is orthogonal to S1, is orthogonal to S2. Why? Because radius segments are perpendicular. This is tangent, and if you draw tangent, I mean A1, M1 is a tangent to this circle. B2, M2 is tangent to this circle, right? And now we want this circle to be orthogonal to the third circle. That is what we are looking for. And its center should be on M1, M2, line M1, M2. So for all practical purposes, we can take any point on this circle. Let us take this point and join this point. This is C1. Again, because it is a radius of this bigger circle, the length of tangent is same. Now we are looking for a circle whose length of tangent with respect to P is going to be PC1. Therefore, what should we do? We should draw perpendicular or 90 degree to this radius segment, and we will see where it intersects this line joining M1, M2. Now, if you take this much as a radius and another circle, कुठे गेला? Now, if you construct another circle with this radius, I mean, you will get a circle like this. So who is good in GeoGebra in this batch? Who can sketch GeoGebra very fast?
Sir, Samarth.
Samarth? Can you do Samarth? GeoGebra fast? Because
Yes.
yeah, one year senior batch, Pranav is there and he does all sketching in GeoGebra for me. See, if I am sketching by hand, it is not quite visible, correct, but still I am trying my best. Samartha, you just sketch whatever I have done in your GeoGebra right now, then I will allow you to share your screen.
Okay.
करता येईल तुला?
Oh, sir.
हां. I mean, it is interesting. What I am trying to explain right now is draw any one orthogonal circle and every point on that orthogonal circle will give you a circle in the family. And the construction is draw that radius segment. Suppose I draw this radius segment, construct a perpendicular at this point, you will get new center, construct a circle with that center like this. And it will be of that family. So if it is GeoGebra, we can construct few more circles and they will look very nice. I also can do that, but my speed is not that good. Recently I have learned it. But if somebody else is doing, because we will have to do this work in GeoGebra in conic sections also. I will show you the sections of the cone which behave like parabola, ellipse, hyperbola, etc. So, Samantha, tell me when you are ready. If two circles given are distinct, non-intersecting, what do you expect to happen with respect to all the circles that you draw in the family? Will they be distinct circles or they will intersect each other? What is that will happen? Just think about it. Okay. So now Samartha has drawn these two circles, one with center A and another with center C. And he has constructed the radical axis of that, which is line HI. Okay, any general circle with I center is constructed and any radius is taken, IL. At L, draw tangent, it intersects line AC at M with center M and radius ML, draw a circle. Has Samartha, now change the color of this circle with center M. That is our first circle that we have found out. Okay. नाही आता ते टॅबलेट आहे ते बंद करून टाक. सगळ्यांना दिसत नाही ते स्क्रीन मोठं दिसतंय तुझं हे आलंय ते. हा ओके. नाव टेक अनदर पॉइंट ऑन द orthogonal circle. Take any other point on the orthogonal circle from where you can draw tangent. Okay, take it there. No, it will go far away. So bring it closer. The intersection with the center line will be far away. Take somewhere closer. Point. Where are you taking? N. Draw IN. Good. Draw perpendicular at N. Yes. Point of intersection of them. Good. Radius I. Circle. Okay. Very good. Now I would like you to take the point somewhere near C. I mean, K and C च्या मध्ये point घे. Circle वर. We want little smaller circle P. Okay. Same procedure. P. Perpendicular. परपेंडिक्युलर येत नाहीये. आली पण ते तिकडे गेले बघ, इकडे पॉइंट आलाय. जवळ घे, नाही एच्या जवळ घे, अजून थांब 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 थांब. मूव दॅट पॉइंट नियर टू ए. अजून देन ओनली यू विल गेट स्मॉलर सर्कल. गो नियर. ठीक आहे. गेट द पॉइंट ऑफ इंटरसेक्शन. Construct circle. So give different color to this. Very good. Very good. Now, can you move that point P on the orthogonal circle? Can you move that? Close. एक मिनिट. Slow. नाही, पहिलं आधी इकडे ओरिजिनल पोझिशन. Now move slowly towards A. Slow. एक minute. Can you observe that the circle is becoming smaller and smaller? Okay. Now, when you jump that line AC, again you will get at the point of intersection. Kar जाऊ दे 0 point. This is point circle. This is point circle where the orthogonal circle is intersecting line joining centers. This is a circle with center 0, radius 0. Now, if you go to the other side, again the circle radius is growing. Okay, and it is growing. When the point will be at J, it is coincident, and after that it will grow, and it will, if you observe, it will never cross the radical axis. It will be, when the point will become tangent at top, that is a parallel line to the line joining center, your circle is radical axis itself, but now the point has gone to the other side. Therefore, you can see that blue circle to the other side, and things are falling in place. Okay, keep reducing. Now radius is reducing, less. When it hits K, you will get S2, and go further down. This is yet another point circle, and after that, again you get bigger circles. At this point, again you have a radical axis. Very good. This dynamics, I cannot draw and explain it to you. Every point on that circle is giving you yet another circle in coaxial family. Moreover, हे दोन points जे intersection वाले आहेत ते highlight कर. Orthogonal circle with line joining centers. They are the points where these coaxial family of circles are becoming point circles. Now, I hope you have understood this up to this point, and it is easy and very fast. Now, on the same sketch, Samartha, you draw another orthogonal circle. Select another point. I च्या वरती अजून एक point select कर कोणता तरी radical axis वर. Yes. And construct yet another orthogonal circle. नाही, आता सर्कल कसं काढशील? T वरनं tangent काढायला लागेल तुला पहिली. Very good. Get the point of intersection. Contact. Get the point of contact. नाही, असू दे ना, एक पॉइंट लागणार दोनापैकी. ड्रॉ द सर्कल. Okay. Now another orthogonal circle is drawn with center at T, and you will observe that circle is also passing through R and S, which are the point circles of earlier orthogonal circle. Now, as you move T on radical axis, these are the different orthogonal circles that we are getting, and all of them. Now you bring T to the other side of line joining centers. If you bring T to the other side, they are all orthogonal, infinitely many orthogonal circles with respect to the family of coaxial family of circles. And the most important thing geometrically which is happening is all these orthogonal circles are passing through R and S. Point circles are the same. Now, let me tell you the final story also. Now, as far as family of circles, blue, green, red is concerned, IT is our radical axis. And now we have got two circles which are orthogonal, one with center I and another with center T. Now, if you consider the family of circles of these two circles, if you consider family of these two circles, circle with T as a center, I as a center, then it is yet another coaxial family of circles whose radical axis happen to be line joining centers of earlier coaxial family. So line RS we can say. So line RS is a radical axis of family of circles which were orthogonal to given two circles. So you have to understand this duality. So if the given two circles are distinct, they don't have a point in common, then the corresponding family of orthogonal circles will have intersecting circles. All circles will pass through R and S and vice versa. And those 2 points of intersection are the point circles of the first family. However, you won't have point circle for the second family, which is perpendicular. The smallest circle, Samartha, smallest circle with center H and radius HR. Okay, you can take it there. This is the smallest circle of the orthogonal family that you will have. This one. We will not have a point circle there. This is geometrically we are discussing all the 3 different things. Is there any question before I stop share? Is there any question that you guys have that we would like to explain using this diagram? The method of getting coaxial family is draw any orthogonal circle, draw any radius segment, draw perpendicular. Its point of intersection with the line joining centers is the center and length of tangent is the radius. Draw circle. So all the coaxial family of circles will pass through the gap between H and the given circle. This is the gap. I don't know whether my cursor is visible or not. All coaxial family of circles will pass through the gap and they are infinitely many and nobody will intersect each other. Okay. Thank you, Samartha. Very well done. Now I should stop share and go back to my screen. Okay, let us do these things using coordinate geometry. Now the best setup is first coaxial family of circles on x-axis, centers on x-axis, and first family of circles has y-axis as a radical axis. So can you tell me how will be the equation of such family of circles whose radical axis is y-axis and center is on x-axis. Can you show me the equation of the family of circles whose center is on x-axis and radical axis is y-axis? How will it look like? Okay, say it again. X square plus y square plus 2gx plus c is equal to 0 is any circle with center on x-axis. We want y-axis to be radical axis. Each equation is x is equal to 0. Therefore, x square plus y square plus 2gx plus c plus lambda x is equal to 0 is the equation of family of circles. But g and lambda both are parameters. Therefore, I club them and write x square plus y square minus 2 lambda x plus c is equal to 0 is the general equation of coaxial family of circles with center on x-axis and whose radical axis is y-axis. Let us cross check by taking couple of values of lambda. If lambda is equal to 1, we get S1. If lambda is equal to minus 2, we get S2. And these are the two circles whose radical axis is 6x is equal to 0, which is x is equal to 0 y-axis. So it is okay. Now, if this is the circle that I have, what will decide whether y-axis intersects this circle or not? What will decide whether y-axis intersect the family or not? Intersect means you see, I mean you can find out the intersect. Intersects the family or not. What will decide? Tell me, what will decide? Say, okay.
Sir, not have.
बघूया ना. Let us solve this circle simultaneously with x is equal to 0. Solve x square plus y square minus 2 lambda x plus c is equal to 0 simultaneously x is equal to 0. So y square plus c is equal to 0 and we want y value, that is suppose it intersects here, then anyway x coordinate is 0, y coordinate is something y dash. We want y dash to be real, therefore this implies y square should be equal to minus c and hence c should be negative. If e is less than 0, real intersect. With y-axis. If c is greater than 0, no real intersect. If c equals 0, Bola, what is the situation? If c equals 0, oh, this passes through origin, therefore y-axis is tangent. Radical axis is tangent. Okay, in the earlier that family using GeoGebra that we have learned, if two circles were tangent to each other, then the common tangent itself is a radical axis and their corresponding families also will pass through this point. You see the special case here? Everything converges to this point, which is going to be in our case origin, and that could be the simplest case. If these two circles intersect each other. If these two circles go apart, these two circles intersect each other. But if these two circles are tangent to each other, the other two circles are also tangent to each other. That is what is our third case. So condition on C, if C is negative, they intersect y-axis in real. If C is positive, they are distinct circles. If C is 0, it is tangent. Now, if C is negative, if C is positive now, okay, if C is greater than 0, therefore no intersect with y-axis, and hence we should get a real point center, a circle. Therefore, we must have point circle in this family. So what is the point circle, or what are the coordinates of the center of point circle of this? What is the radius of that circle? Radius of that circle is lambda square minus c is equal to r square. Is that right? Radius of this circle is lambda square minus c. And now we are saying that c is greater than 0 and r is equal to 0. R is equal to 0 and c is greater than 0. Therefore, you get lambda square is equal to c, and hence lambda is equal to plus or minus radical c. So, when you have positive c, you have 2 points, one here and one here, whose coordinates are going to be, this is plus root c, nahi, बरोबर है ना, lambda plus lambda and minus lambda, and this is minus root c. These are the 2 points which will represent point circles. They are called limiting circles or point circles. So if c is greater than 0, you end up having point circles. It is as simple as that. But if c is less than 0, you don't have point circles, because plus minus radical something negative. So lambda is going to be plus minus radical something negative if c is less than 0. So it's falling in place. I think it completes our story. If c is less than 0, real intersect with y-axis, that means you have a point circle on orthogonal family. If c is greater than 0, that means no real intercept with y-axis. That means these two circles are distinct circles and they can be made smaller, 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 and you end up having 2 point circles. Lambda value, and we can find out the coordinates of those 2 point circles also. One point circle will be plus root c, at plus root c, and another point circle will be at minus root c. And this is the general equation. So lambda and c, how they are controlling these two families, we can see very well. Now, the only thing that is required to be done is what will be the corresponding equation of the family which is orthogonal to these people. Can we find out? Can we find out? Or maybe we will have to do some of this discussion in the next lecture. We will do that.